All right, so pre-rolls at 16 bars. The drums come in about 16 bars into the song, so I got 32 bars to get situated.
Cool.
1, 2, boom.
All right, we just got here to Adam Watt's studio. I'm gonna knock on the door. Yes? It's Andrew.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be Ricciardo. I don't know which is better or which is worse.
We'll have to make do with this.
Yes.
Sorry.
This is good enough.
Hey, thanks for having me though.
You're welcome.
It's your pleasure. Adam Watts, everyone.
What's up, everybody?
Thank you for inviting me. This is, fun fact, second time I have been to this home studio ever. And if you've watched for too long on this channel, maybe you've seen it. If you have, let us know down below. But it's totally new and a different person now.
So this used to be this great dude, producer, writer, many different things, keys, whatever. His name's Robert Marvin. I was moving out to Nashville and trying to find out which house to buy and like looking for essentially this, and it took months. And I was like Zillowing out like insanity and just like you'd find the house with the room over the garage that had the funny like bass trap room, and I was like, I can't do it there. And then this popped up, and it had been like, it went on to Zillow like 13 hours earlier. I'm looking through all the pictures and I see this shelf with a Toby Mac gold record, and then a Kelly Clarkson one, and then like a Matt Kearney one. I was like, ooh, I gotta cross-reference those guys. So I just totally went into like, like Mission Impossible mode, and like went total private investigator, tracked him down to Instagram, tracked him down to Sound Better, sent messages to both and said, dude, I'm the guy who's supposed to buy your house. And I think we might know some of the same people. So long story short, we were able to connect. We've become buddies now. And he was looking for somebody to take over this house. In fact, 3 of his friends were gonna buy it, and they all fell out right before it went on the market. So it was meant to be. Super grateful, huge blessing, because it's actually exactly what I hoped it would be. And he's a super cool guy. This room used to be all white. His wife was a hairdresser and stuff, so she had her stuff over here. And I'm white, but I don't like my rooms to be white. So I came in here and slathered it with like testosterone earth tones. So put in the brick, put in the wood, painted the ceilings black, and found this really cool like library green thing, and put treatment up. And I had this huge rug I had this cabin back in California. This is an expensive rug.
I bet.
If I could go back in time, I would not spend what I spent on this rug. But
looks amazing.
Yeah, I think it gets the 10K. It's like a
perfect.
It's good to
high pass filter,
absorption. Yeah,
low pass filter.
But yeah, and then this is the first thing I bought when I got into town.
What is that? What is that? Why would you get that? What does that go to?
Well, the 500 hertz hits here, hits the couch, then it's a diffuser, really.
Oh, right, all right.
No, so I'm just like obsessed with antiques and love the vibe. I was like, I'm gonna figure out what to do with it later. And I have a vision of actually, the garage is behind here. I might actually cut into the garage and create a little stage here and do home shows and stuff like that. But for now, come hither. You can walk up the stairway
to heaven. Well, you got to have a way to get there.
I'm a dad, and that's a dad joke. So if you're going to play Stairway, we have a place to play it.
All right, so what I remember is this was all drywall, and it was all white. So like you said, you've not only darkened tones and vibes in here, which I love, very masculine energy. But
Thank you.
Also, like, walls are totally different.
Ish. Well, I mean, the dimensions are all exactly the same.
Yep.
It feels a lot different because of the color change and everything. And then brick, I like to put brick wherever I can possibly put it.
Yeah.
It sounds good. It looks great. I have this sort of like ideal in my head of what a good kind of decay time for a drum room is.
Okay.
Not too big, not too small. Just sort of that Goldilocks thing. And this room is that, which is such a huge blessing. Years ago, I built a studio from the ground up and got to like have the drum room of my dreams and like tune it to whatever I wanted it to be. And this room just came that way, which is so cool. I think it's like maybe 21 by like 9 foot something to the soffit and then 11 foot to there. And the two soffits are different sizes. So there's something really cool about the varying dimensions. And then the more I got stuff in here, these diffusers, the couch, the rug, and then those panels back there, it just like, it warmed up just enough. Man, I just love it. So now it's one of those rooms where you can take the room mic and depending on how close you want it to the drums, you can really tune the ambience in a really cool way.
Yeah.
Obviously combined with compression and get something relatively tight. Although you'll see, because I started on drums, so there's 3 drum kits around that all do different things. This is the one that's like, as I grew up as a drummer, for me it was like I started with Neil Peart, then it was Stuart Copeland, then it was Vinnie Colaiuta and Jeff Porcaro and all those players. And so I have a sound and a vibe that I go for when I'm like, this is me as drummer, you know?
Yeah.
That's this kit. And then as I became a songwriter, I was like, you can't have a cranked up snare on every song. It doesn't actually work. That kit is that. So I have the different flavors. It's like 31 flavors of drum tones, and each kit requires a different touch and tuning and vibe. So this kit is like, so we'll play it in a minute and I'll show you what it sounds like. And beautiful thing, a little history. Robert bought this place, I think 2004-ish, built the studio 2006-ish, and he lived his whole career here. And it's awesome. So everything's wired with Mogami in the walls. There's treatment everywhere. I landed.
Double doors.
Now I got to sell the house. I didn't know that was squeaking. But double doors. So this room is really dead. There's like a couple hard surfaces, but most of it, ceiling, walls, is treated. I thought this would be a great place to put my kind of warm, earthy dumpling kit. And then what's great is you can open the door, put a room mic out there, and get some get some fuzziness. So this kit, completely different approach, completely different tones. You can see there's a lot of tape on things. And also my favorite part is, come on. I got my old Gretsch kick here, wide open with a soft beater, and then I got a left-handed double bass pedal. So from the same position, I can access this other kick, which is much warmer and boomier. So
wow.
And then this is a calfskin old antique head over here. So you just got this.
Hit the like button if you like the sound of our lav mics on that drums kit.
What was also cool is there are little things that were left behind. So this rug, which I think is from some sort of antler-having species of animal. This is here, so that's good. But over here, this was also Robert's. He left this little piece of furniture. And I'm like,
that's amazing.
Perfect for percussion. Everything from the instrument that everybody needs, but then nobody ends up playing, but the udu. Which,
I was just going to do that.
yeah, it's basically that built in. So you got all that kind of stuff, and then these little guys, not a wrong note on them. Tons of stuff, and get ready for distortion on all the microphones. But this is like, I think only if I'm tracking cartoons. Check this out. So that's in every track I make. And then there's this, which is the spooky ghost stuff. So yeah, lots of crazy percussion. Oh, and the best tambourine ever. I'm like obsessed with antiques, and this was like, check this out. It's magic. I think these were made out of the gold teeth of a pirate or something. Whatever. More dad jokes. So yeah, this is a great little room. Most of the drums on this kit, it was like my first kit I ever got. So we're talking like 1986. I was 11. Do the math. I'm old. But my parents lucked out. I was obsessed with drums. They found a Gretsch kit for like $450 in somebody's garage. So it's been my kit through, it's probably on every record I've ever done. I tend to play drums on almost everything I produce, and this kit means a lot to me. The kick drum is in there, and this this DW kick, I got lucky. My friend Jules Rodriguez, his father, rest in peace, Art Rodriguez, they had a relationship with DW, and he came to me, he's like, dude, do you want any DW drums? And I'm like, in fact, I do, because I have a 22 by 18 kick, which is in there. I have my 24 by 14 Gretsch, and I'm like, I want the Goldilocks. I'm like, will they make me a 23 by 17 X-Shell DW? And he's like, I don't know if they make heads for that, but I'll ask. And it turns out, if you call or whatever, reach out to Remo, they make a 23-inch Power Stroke. So,
my gosh,
that kick is that.
Yeah.
And it's freaking glorious. I love it. It's got a D112 in it on the little arm, the May miking system. So here's the thing. When you love Neil Peart as a little kid, like you tend to go through a phase where you're like, oh, that's stupid. Like real drummers are Jeff Porcaro and Vinny Colaiuta and Steve Ferroni, whatever. But then as you grow up, you're like, nah, Neil's my dad. Neil's my drum dad. So hence all the toms. And then I'm a Chad Wackerman fan. Love these little guys. This kit is kind of like my everything kit. Obviously, it's not very musical to do crazy fills all the time, but I love having access to it. This kit is my favorite, and this one like represents like what I love drums to sound like if drums were all that matters and not songs. So like the sound of this kit works for some music. It's a cranked up snare. It's aggressive. It's a kit that I play with just like everything I have. You guys ready for the magic trick? If you don't, if you know the trick, don't tell people. If you don't, see if you can figure it out. Ready?
Yeah, that's crazy.
All right, here's the answer to the trick. It's my old parlor trick. For the nerdy kind of like engineering side of things, you're seeing no tom mics. I do use tom mics sometimes, but I really have been loving this minimalist way of tracking drums. And that is, I'll take a stereo ribbon mic, find a spot. This is a nice spot. This is where we'll put it for when we record something later. And I record, really, like I love a 4 mic drum sound. So that, a mic on the kick, a mic on the snare, and then a room mic. Or in this case, we'll add overdubs and a hi-hat mic. And then I'll usually get most of what I need, and then I'll do single hit samples of these exact drums. And then everywhere where I want to bolster things with samples, it won't be like store-bought stuff. I have a real kind of obsessive about the whole idea of creating your own samples.
Yeah.
So that you have your own identity and you're not just like, because it could be the greatest sounding snare in the world, but if everybody's got it, is it really still great? Kinda. So I like the idea of having your own samples. So starting in like 2008, but really in 2013, I just have folder after folder of every time I'd record drums and I dig it, get the single hits, throw them in a folder, and then you got this nice little menu to choose from that nobody else has. It's the bathroom. It's kind of a little shout out to the way things used to look, so it's very white. So,
nice,
welcome.
Nice digs, dude.
This is where the Dove Awards go, on the toilet.
Shout out.
And then, oh, this is, okay. This is the Beautiful Soul toothbrush. So this song changed my life. It was everything. So back in 2003, my friend Andy Dodd and I wrote and produced this song, Beautiful Soul. And then, interestingly enough, Greg Wells did some additional production on it. And I found out much later who he was. And I was like, oh, cool, he's on this song. But that song really, like, people talk about like big breaks.
Yeah.
I had like 3 little moments in the early 2000s where there were some things that happened and we just happened to be barely, me and my partner Andy, were just ready for that moment to hit us. And that was one of them. We wrote this song. It ended up going like big all over the world, and then we ended up signing publishing deals with Disney, and after that it was like, it's a really cool era to be there, 2003 to 13. So
nice.
Some of the High School Musical, Hannah Montana, Camp Rock, some of that stuff is my fault.
So congrats, that's amazing.
It was fun, but that's the toothbrush I have to show for it.
You got licensing on that toothbrush?
Yeah, man, it plays.
You got publishing?
It plays a minute of Beautiful Soul, which is exactly how much Beautiful Soul it takes to brush your teeth.
Anytime the bank account's getting low, you go brush your teeth, and it
yeah
drops a deposit.
It pays for the toothpaste. It's a self-perpetuating toothpaste funder.
Sweet. And you got a big dry erase board here.
Oh, yes.
Chalkboard.
Chalkboard.
Classic.
This is yesterday's brain dump. But essentially, I came out here and I'm on a mission to do some things, which is create what I think will be the first of its kind sort of education/media company, where the whole thing kind of comes together and we help guide artists and help them get where they want to go, but also be a place where great music, great films are coming out. You can definitely hit me up at Adam Watts Music on my Instagram, adamwattsmusic@gmail.com. You can email me if any of this sounds like something you want to be involved in as a mentor or as an artist who's seeking some guidance. We're open to start working with people. Oh, this is going to be hilarious. Are you ready? This is an important little landing spot. If I open this door, I think there's a 90% chance that you're going to see a bunch of kids stuff right at the bottom. Let's see. Not too bad. Just one little pink thing. Usually there's like basketballs and stuffed toys and like maybe one of my kids unconscious, like right there. So up the stairs is my house where I live with my wife and 2 kids. This is the little trophy wall.
Amazing.
I try to keep the trophies either in the bathroom or away from the creative space, because it's the last thing you need is your ego in the room while you're recording, doing things.
Guys, look at that. It's nice that it's all consolidated into one thing.
Yeah, it helps save space. So these, like in the background, you can see all the records we'd worked on up to that point, and then these are some of my favorites. Jeremy Camp's first 2 records were really important moments, and then there's Jesse's and then my stuff, and it was fun, man. This room's cool because it's more controlled sonically. There's whisper wall on the ceiling, on that wall, this wall, I put some wood up. So it's a great room for tracking piano or sitting writing, and then this kit sounds way different than that kit and the other kit. So it's a cool kind of third flavor. And I like that it has natural light too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to be able to see trees and all that kind of stuff. There's a little editing spot here where, as of yet, nobody has edited, but it's ready to roll for that. This was one of my little prized purchases. It's a 1910 upright Steinway, and the movers actually said this is the heaviest piano that they've ever moved.
Wow.
So I think they estimated about 800 pounds or something.
Oh my God.
And it made it into this room by like 1/4 of an inch. And they were literally just tearing tendons and it was insane. But it's here, and it's very warm and old sounding and just All right.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's dark. Sounds great.
Yeah, it's a nice piano. This little statue I bought when I was 11 years old, and it's followed me all the way here.
Wow.
I call it Wise Watts. Got that thing at a garage sale and rode home on my skateboard with him, and he's been in every studio since 90 something. This is kind of a cool piece. My grandma was in music. She played pedal steel guitar, and when she passed away, we found this Martin in her attic in Lake Elsinore, California, baking in there for decades.
Oh, wow.
It had a shingle glued onto it, multiple holes in the body, but I saw that little logo and I was like, holy crap. So it turns out it's a 49 Martin.
Wow.
I got it restored, and it's a nice prized possession. Sounds amazing. It's tuned to drop D.
Oh, cool.
And then right here, this is sort of like if a guitar needs some doctoring, the neck goes there, work on the guitar. And I also do like leather work and other things. And I also collect knives. So that's where those are. This guy will like, tell you your future. And that's an actual mummified cat, by the way. Meow. Meow.
Is that an old cat?
I was obsessed with like antiques and making art out of antiques. In fact, that piece above the piano is one of my pieces. So during that period of like looking for crazy antiques, I found every weird cat lady and whoever who'd collected antiques and sold weird stuff. And I was like, I need that. Also, it's a good diffusion off the little...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I could hear it when you played the piano.
When the snare bounces off the rib cage, you get perfect mid-range. All right, so now we exit the like piano room and enter the control room where things are controlled. Whether or not I'm the one controlling them is up for debate.
Beautiful.
Ta-da!
Look at the cloud, it's so big.
Yeah, it's more than a cloud. It's like a whole climate. It's the entire ceiling.
It's crazy.
And interestingly, this room is a little on the small-ish side. I think it's something like 15 by 14 or something like that, but it's got so much treatment, especially a lot in the ceiling. It sounds really good, and I really love it. And it's cozy, and it fits the gear. I'm as obsessed with every part of the process as every other part of the process. So like came up as a drummer, then started writing songs for myself. And to me, like producing, writing, engineering, mixing, singing, songwriting, but all that stuff was just like one thing. So my process has been, how can I create a studio where you can create and make all of those things as much one integrated process as possible? And I would start to see certain producers that set up their studio in that way. So like Daniel Lenoir is one. He has stations. Things are set up so that in a moment's notice you can track something. You're also mixing as you go. Very hybrid. So I'm kind of, you'd probably say like 70% in the box, 30% out of the box, something like that. But it's very hybrid. It's built around that kind of process where you don't have to do some insane mindset switch or, gear switch in order to track versus record or produce versus mix or whatever. It's all as integrated as possible. And I love gear. I love getting my hands on things. I'm not against the mouse, but the older I get, the more I kind of like consciously realize like how important it is to embody what we're doing. So like for now, at least, we still have bodies. Like to me, it started with the human voice is the most emotional and like connected instrument there is. It's because it's in our body. And then anything we touch with our hands is the most expressive. So even when you're engineering stuff, if you can reach out and touch a knob and then like hear something sound different, I think the fact that you're putting your hands on a thing, it changes your relationship to the process, even if it doesn't necessarily change the sound of it. Obviously, we know now that like in a blind ear taste test, can't necessarily totally hear the difference between things. So I've tried to maximize my workflow so that I get sonic results where the process really impacts that result. So what that means for me is I have a lot of like parallel compression, a lot of parallel EQ. Essentially, it's a hybrid system. And it's a lot of things that you've probably heard people talk about. Like that Brauerized approach is something that's kind of mixed into it. I just love the idea of mixing the combination of knowing exactly what's happening, which you can do in Pro Tools. You're looking at meters, everything that's happening. But I love the idea that things are coming out in the actual analog world and they're mushing together in ways that you can't necessarily like see. Because sometimes if we listen with our eyes, things get kooky. If you're pushing, for example, outputs 11 and 12 in Pro Tools, go to this Fatso. And I have the Fatso, it's a UBK Fatso, and it's set on the most tapey, gushy, smushy setting. So in any given session, it's not uncommon for me to have 20% of my drums going through there, 10% of my vocal, 5% of the guitars. So like multiple instruments going to different degrees through the Fatso.
Oh, that's cool.
And so at the end of the day, if I like turn off the Fatso, like the mix falls apart and it loses this magic. So now times that by outputs 3 and 4 go through a pair of distressors on opto mode, then through a clariphonic, then through this side of the transient designer, adding just a little bit of attack and a little bit of sustain.
Whoa.
So now imagine some percentage of any instrument I want is going through that and it's getting compressed, brightened, and it's adding attack and sustain. And it might be going through the Fatso a little bit. it's kind of this ability to like mix and match the 32 flavors and get a result that really, at the end of the day, is fun and also the biggest pain in the ass when you need to make stems. So that's my setup, very hybrid.
Are you primarily doing a lot of like sole writing and producing? Are you working with other artists and doing co-writing and producing? Are they coming here? What's the experience like so far?
It's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I love working with artists. I love working with bands. My heart and soul is I grew up listening to Jeff Buckley, Chris Cornell, Soundgarden, Sting, Radiohead, stuff like that. So that's like where my heart is. And then ended up signed to Disney writing for all those projects. So like the yin and yang of that's crazy, which means that coming from a drumming background, I love all styles of music. It's all a challenge. It's all fun. But what it's done for my career is that it's just like I'm all over the place. But I love the diversity of it.
I just noticed something sitting here. This little setup here is so cool. So you're talking about sending out to different things. I imagine that's a little bit of what's happening over here.
Totally.
And I wanted to highlight just this specific little stand that you have. If you could show the stand. It's like an old antique like ashtray holder or something.
Yep, it totally is.
And then it's got you a little tray with the stereo radial reamp box. And then I guess this feeds these three. And does that go into all of these or is it just these three? What's going on?
All right, so here's what's going on. Right now, this is like placeholder because I love this Strymon Deco, but I also love it on guitar. I just need to buy another one. But often I'll take this and that'll be here. This is just hanging out for now. But what I do is come out of Pro Tools into this little converter box and I'll go through the POG into the Strymon Deco, which does like kind of tapey sounding distortion and slapback. And that's one side of it. And then the other side just goes through a Sans amp.
Okay.
So what's great is it's pretty badass to put like toms through this and be able to go octave down, octave up on toms. It gives you the craziest 80s awesomeness. And then after that, to be able to go in, put a little slap on it or juice it up with some harmonic distortion. So that's really fun for one side. And then Sans amp, if you know anything about Chad Blake and the magic that he does, Sans amp is his go-to, and now I know why. Yeah. So a little bit of that on anything, really, but especially kick and snare is really awesome. So that's what that's for. I used to have it go through all the pedals, but I realized I like these flavors, and I really like quick solutions. So that's that.
More pedals, more problems.
Yeah, and this is for guitar.
Yeah.
So, like a floor thing, I like it where it's just like, press the buttons with the fingers. And this chorus pedal is amazing. And then, we could talk about that amp. I really lucked out because a couple of my pals, Scott Hara and Brett Papa, who you might know from Brett Papa, the YouTube channel, back in the day, he was one of the two guys that would sit there with Fred at Divided by 13 and like solder together these amps. And back then, I was playing that guitar in my band. And that guitar right here is it's a Frankenstein.
Yeah.
So this is a mini Maton, probably made well known by Keith Urban, plays one of these at times in his show. And it's an incredible guitar. So like a lot of guitar manufacturers, their like small guitar is sort of like a mid-tier, if not beginner guitar. Mm-hmm. Maton is an Australian company and they make their minis like at top tier quality, really good woods, whatever. So it's an expensive mini guitar, and their pickup system is kind of like Takamine. It's like incredible. It sounds like it's mic'd. Wow. So I loved this thing, but the neck was like a little shorty. Yeah. And I'm like, back then I loved the road worn telly was it was kind of like the custom shop stuff where they age it a little bit. So I bought a road worn telly, went to my favorite luthier and guitar fixer guy, and I was like, put this neck on this, and this became like my live thing. So what I would do is I'd go into an AB and an A plus B box, and I would go DI to the house for an acoustic sound, and I'd come out and go to a Marshall style master volume amp. And so I was two guys at once. Wow. Acoustic guy, either or both electric and DI acoustic, and this became an axe. So as a result of that, I was looking for the perfect amp, which is like a 70s Marshall thing, master volume. because the output on piezos are hot. So I went to Divided By, talked to Fred, and I was like, "Ooh, I love your 70s Marshall thing you got going, but I want the smaller box, and I want this, that, and the other." And he's like, "Okay, come back in a couple months." So he built this amp for me, and then to my surprise, I'm more of a drummer than a guitar player by a long shot, or more of a songwriter, or a singer, or whatever, than a guitar player. But he named it after me, so it was a huge blessing.
Wow.
So it's called the AMW 39, the Adam Matthew Watts 39. And recently, he retired and sold Divided By to another company, and they've kept it going, and one of the models they're still making is that, so it's like super cool.
That's awesome.
I love that amp. It's my go-to. And then Brett Papa loaned me that guy.
Yeah, I remember. I actually had that at my studio for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, see, it's still got the tags. I don't know if he'll let me take them off, but got some switchers over here. So what's cool is I can switch to this speaker and hear the amp in the room, and then I have a similar
I love that.
cab out there, and I just switch to that one when I want to record it.
Oh, that's great.
So it's a nice way to just like
Yep.
really hear it. And then guitars, I mean, we could go a long way into instruments, but this is another like, oh, I'm in Nashville.
Yeah.
I'm selling my Murphy Labs 335 if anybody wants it. And I got this, which is Gruen ordered like a custom shop telly, like all to their specs with like roasted marshmallows, roasted maple neck and stuff. Is that maple? Yeah. Love this thing. That's new to me.
It's incredible.
This guy, Lawler P90s. This thing is also relatively new, but love it. Just like a nice,
great. That's a good one.
juicy dobro. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love this thing. So, and then over there we got like, oh, well, it's covered by light, but a 56 Gibson country western model, which is awesome. Got a nice old kind of jazz bass style thing. And then this is one of those new Martins where they figured out how to make the top sound like a pre-war Martin by baking it in a vacuum.
Whoa.
Google it, it's awesome.
That's
They did
cool.
some molecular study of what the pre-war Martins look like, and they figured out if they heat the wood up in a vacuum that it starts to look exactly like that molecular structure, and it sounds old. It's freaking awesome.
Whoa. Can we like do something unconventional and record some music in the studio?
Yeah, man. Let's do it. This is a song off my last solo record called The Devil in the Light. We got stereo ribbon mic. You'll see it in the middle of the room. It's an AEA stereo ribbon mic. That's going through the 1073s right here into a pair of distressors in the opto setting, which I dig. Wide open attack, fast release, my favorite. So maximizing attack and bigness. So it's coming back, capturing all the low end. I think about 80 hertz is where this high pass is. Letting that through, so not compressing the subs. Not cutting out any subs, using distortion 2, which is like tubes. Those are the rooms. Then overheads are going through the API 3124. Hi-hat is also API. Kick is going through this Ventec, which is a wannabe 1073. They called it the 473, so they wouldn't get sued. These two channels are broken. Shh. And then that's snare. And so I'm adding some 60 hertz and some shelf at 3K on the kick. And then on the snare, I'm adding some 220 and another shelf at 3.2. So if I can add some high end and some low end while tracking, I will on kick and snare. That's the drums. Them's the drums. All right, so pre-rolls at 16 bars. The drums come in about 16 bars into the song. So I got 32 bars to get situated.
Cool.
1, 2, boom.
right, we gotta go.
All right, back in. There it all is.
And then you come in and you go, oh, I forgot to arm the knee mic.
Dude, totally. Oh, by the way, we didn't talk about my burl converters.
Yeah, I was wondering, dude.
Got some burls on the ins and the outs.
The mothership.
Oh, yeah.
Lovely.
Got to give you the quick run through. So everything's coming out of here. I have 24 output choices to summing. 16 channels of summing here. 24 in the D box. I'm a big fan of dangerous stuff for like clean, because I get all my dirt elsewhere. I'm out of breath. So what I've done is I've strapped across most of these outputs. I have one relatively clean output that goes through this. So when I want stuff to be just have a little tube magic but not much else, I choose those pair of outputs. But across 3 and 4 is the distressors. Across 11 and 12 is the fatso. Across 1 and 2 are those 2 tweakers going into an Electra. So most of the pairs of outputs have some outboard on them, and I can choose whichever thing I want to go out to parallel or solo. So every drum has some different percentage of the gear kind of mushing together, and it just gets magical when you start to put a little bit of the bass and a little bit of the vocal, and they're all essentially getting different percentages of that stuff.
Yeah, this is a super unique hybrid setup that I've seen I've been to a couple studios, and this is really cool, really interesting.
It's so fun, man. It just makes it like, by the end of a mix, you're kind of like, I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but now I'm using my ears instead of my eyes. And who knows what you get when you have various percentages going through so many different things. And it's all in the analog domain too. So I'm trying to maximize and justify having this gear.
Yeah.
So sure, you can kind of like mock this up through bussing and doing a whole Sheps thing in your session, but I love this.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
Well, I'll put a link to your Instagram and your music down under the video,
cool, man.
So people can go check it out. And any artists who are interested in working with you or whatever, just reach out to you there.
Totally. Yep.
Sweet.
That sounds great. I'm here, edge of Brentwood towards Nashville. Can't wait to just like put my roots in. I love this town, man. And thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having us, man. It's super fun. It's cool to see a 2.0 of space.
Dude, I know, right?
It's super cool.
It's cool. When I got this place, I watched that video and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then to be able to do this now is like super cool.
Right on.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Yep. See you guys later.
All right. See ya.